Surah Al-Fatiha, the short chapter that changes hearts. Lessons, healing and daily guidance. Discover the deep meanings of Surah Al-Fatiha, why it is the heart of our prayer, and how its words bring guidance, healing, and inner peace. A calm, reflective talk blending Qur'anic insight, scholarly wisdom, and practical tips to bring Surah Al-Fatiha alive in your daily life. 2. How Surah Al-Fatiha heals and guides daily life. 3. Importance of Al-Fatiha in Salah and spirituality. 4. Using Al-Fatiha as ruqyah for healing, authentic examples. 5. Tafsir of Al-Fatiha for beginners and seekers. 6. Spiritual lessons from Surah Al-Fatiha explained simply. 7. Practical ways to live by the message of Al-Fatiha. Have you ever stood in prayer, quietly uttered the first 7 verses, and wondered why such a short chapter holds the key to so much of our faith? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. My brothers and sisters on the above title, today I want to share with you gentle reminders, life lessons, and personal reflections drawn from the jewel of the Qur'an, Surah Al-Fatiha, in a way that calms the heart and awakens the soul. Imagine the start of every prayer as a door. Surah Al-Fatiha is the key we put in that door. Without it, the door does not open. The Prophet taught us the central place of this opening. It is not merely ritual. It is the expression of our entire relationship with Allah, praise, presence, humility, and need. Let us walk through the chapter together slowly, as if we are reading it for the first time with a friend. First, there is praise, acknowledging Allah as Lord of the worlds. This is more than words, it's a reorientation. When we truly say Lord of the worlds, we remind ourselves that our worries, our plans, and our short-lived triumphs all sit under divine wisdom. It humbles us and steadies us. Next is recognition of the most merciful, the most compassionate. Think about those names as an embrace, not abstract attributes, but realities we can rest in when life bites. When the heart remembers divine mercy, fear begins to loosen its grip. Then we declare our servitude. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. This line is the inward turning that defeats self-sufficiency. It's a daily, honest confession, I cannot do this alone. And from that admission comes true reliance, tawakkul, balanced, active trust that inspires effort without despair. And finally, the request, guide us to the straight path. Notice the sequence, praise, mercy, servitude, then request. We prepare the heart before we ask. We first recognize who He is, then turn to Him, and then ask for guidance. Guidance is the most precious thing a person can ask for. Spiritual illness begins with lost direction. The cure starts by asking sincerely for the path that leads to what is pleasing to Allah. Now, let me share some practical lessons I have carried with me and heard from teachers and travelers of knowledge. 1. Make each recitation mean something. When you say the words in prayer, pause a fraction longer between phrases. Let Lord of the worlds settle. Let you alone we worship touch your daily choices. 2. Seek guidance always, not only in big moments. Small decisions, the person you choose to spend time with, the habit you start or stop, all benefit from a heart that asks for the straight path constantly. 3. Use Al-Fatiha with humility in healing. From the earliest generations, believers sometimes recited the chapter as a form of sincere supplication over the sick. The point is not to replace medicine, but to pair trust in Allah with the means He has provided, praying while seeking proper treatment, reading it over water or over one's hands with khushu, and then taking the means Allah gave. 4. Al-Fatiha addresses 3 deep needs. It affirms Allah's lordship, so our lives have perspective. It affirms exclusive devotion, so our actions are sincere. And it affirms divine names and attributes, so we can relate rightly. When these 3 are understood and lived, the heart grows resilient. A gentle story to reflect on. Once a traveler stopped me and said he was overwhelmed by fear and bitterness after a setback. We sat quietly and slowly recited Al-Fatiha together, reflecting on each phrase. He told me afterward that the heaviness had shifted, not because problems vanished, but because his orientation toward them had changed. He felt steadied enough to take one small, right step. That is the real beauty. The chapter does not remove struggle, but equips the soul to face it rightly. So how do we turn this into daily practice? Recite Al-Fatiha with intention before every significant choice. Teach your family, children, and friends a simple reflection for each verse. When anxious, breathe deeply and let the meaning of you alone we ask for help rest in your chest before you make decisions. Combine seeking knowledge with sincerity, knowing the words isn't enough. Living their meaning heals the heart. Before we close, remember humility. Having a deep understanding of these meanings is a blessing that comes slowly and through consistent reflection and sincere worship. Scholars remind us that one who truly grasps these meanings will find their life simplified, their fears diminished, and their relationship with Allah restored. Let us make Al-Fatiha not a habit of the tongue only, but a posture of the heart. Begin there each day, and you will be surprised how your steps change. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening. If this reflection helped you, please share it with someone who needs calm today. May Allah guide us to the straight path, increase our understanding, and make these words a light for our hearts and our families. Ameen. Closing dua, Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.